Hi everyone, and welcome to number 3 of our Christmas Critters series of Christmas paintings. Today we're creating a delightful baby owl who's waiting for Santa. All the videos are easy to paint for beginners onwards, and each brings you a cute and whimsical creature with its own bit of holiday charm. So get your paints ready, make yourself comfortable, and let's enjoy a few quiet moments of watercolor and Christmas magic together. Hi everyone, Diane here. Welcome to my channel. Hope everyone's well and looking forward to Christmas. Today we are going to paint a little horned owl, and this is one that I think you'll probably be able to draw all for yourself. I've chosen this because it is very, very easy, and or it can be. I mean, you can do a very detailed drawing if you want, but I think probably we could start with something fairly simple. Now, I've got my paints here and I've done the same thing as before. I'll put all of this in the description below, which colours I used. But I've chosen them out of my Art Nouveau set and my Kuretake 48 set and just put them in an empty box that used to have gold paints in. I'm not sure if those gold paints are ever going to find their way home again, but never mind. I'm sure they're happy wherever they are in a drawer. So let's sit down and do this drawing. Now this owl here is going to be sitting on a tree branch, and I'm going to keep it really simple and get rid of all of these things here. I might need that brown acrylic marker. Talk about the tools and bits and bobs later. Don't dip your pencil into the water. It's not a brilliant idea. So basically, the shape for this horned owl keeps making me think of a cushion or a pillow in a bed. Oh, by the way, this is, and I should have said this for the last video, which was the sheep. This is Aquafine. This is De La Rowney Aquafine watercolor paper. I think it's 100% cellulose. Well, it is. It says so here. Its cold press is 140 pound or 300 grams per square meter, and it's fine. It's good for things like this, and it would make a perfectly good Christmas card. It's actually really thick, so you could use that for a Christmas card all by itself. You don't need to go sticking your drawings onto other cards. It's just not. It's an unnecessary step down the road. So I'm going to draw this owl by, I noticed yesterday when I was doing the sheep that I have a tendency to paint a certain size. And I'm sure everybody's the same. Some people paint naturally very big, but I naturally paint a certain size, which is a bit smaller than I would like to paint. So what have we got here? It looks like a vase, doesn't it? It looks like a vase, and it's actually fairly symmetrical, but it isn't a vase, it's an embryonic owl. His feet are going to be down here. Boom, 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 boom. Easy peasy. This is the tip of his horned ear, and we're going to go like this, joining the tips together. Okay, now owls have big eyes, generally speaking, and for cartoony type eyes, you tend to make them even bigger than they really are, so we'll make them huge like that. I prefer mine not to touch. Some people do their cartoony type owl eyes touching, but I think that makes them look a little bit squiffy. So we're going to do ours like this, and then I'm going to do a beak. Can't argue with that for a beak, can we? Then he's going to have wings on both sides, otherwise he'd be a bit lopsided when it came to flying. Now, I like some people these days, it's become fashionable to do strange things with birds' eyes. But generally speaking, owls have very large pupils. And so that's how we're going to do ours. You could do little tiny dotty ones in the middle if you wanted to. And you almost certainly want to give him some expression by popping in a light. And you can have him looking up like that, or you can have him looking down like that. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Having put it there, I'm going to change it because the reason why is he's going to be looking down. See how that changes everything? Take out those highlights, put them in down here, and immediately he's looking down. See that? Isn't that good? Okay, so his feet are standing on a branch. So we put the branch in here. And don't forget the branches usually are thicker at this end than they are at the far end. So we'll let that do that. Then I'm going to grow a tree. This is the side of the tree. And don't panic, because we're not painting a tree. We are just embracing him in branches. So In the video that we did a couple of days ago, I painted my branches coming from the pointy bit backwards, and I think that's actually a really good idea. I'm very happy that I suddenly, after all these years, thought of that. Always make a little curve there. I think it looks better. You can always rub out the pencil lines afterwards. Now, he's got the moon behind him. We're going to do a big yellow moon. If you can't draw a circle, and who can, just get a small cup or a small plate or something, or else just don't care. And then down here, the reason he's looking down is because down here we have got, guess what? He has hung out his stocking, ready for Father Christmas. Okay, so now we're going to paint it. So I think probably the best thing to do will be to do the owl first, then I'll do the moon, then I'll do the stocking and the moon, and then the tree last. Okay? 100,000 different ways of painting an owl in whatever colours you want. You can put these here, I think. Shall I put them there? Maybe I'll put them there. That's probably better. I think that's probably better. So I'm going to paint him. What am I going to paint him? I'll tell you what, first thing I'm going to do is to paint the yellow part of his eye. And I'm going to do a little bit of a cheaty weed here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use acrylic yellow. And this is just because I wanted him to have a yellow outline, and it's really tricky with watercolor to keep yellow clean and undaunted, untainted by anything else that's going on around it. So I'm going to do it like that. And then that will need to dry though. You mustn't forget that the acrylic markers still need to dry. So if I was to put another colour next to it, it would run, which would not be what I want. So bearing that in mind, I'm going to paint the moon now. So we'll go for yellow to start with. It doesn't matter if you paint over your little twiggy branch there, because you can always paint the twiggy branch on top. So we'll just do this nice and loose. Somebody requested an owl yesterday. I saw a comment saying, please paint an owl. And I had been toying with the idea for quite a while. And I was thinking, I don't know if we can get away with all of these animals, and I'm going to add a little bit of brown to the moon to make it a bit more warm. Am I going too far away from realism? Am I going to upset some people because, just put some nice banana colour in there. But then I thought, hang it. Hang it all, I said to myself. If a lady wants an owl, the lady shall have an owl. Even if the video only gets one view, she'll be happy. And there's the law of inverse proportions applies to YouTube. There's two laws of inverse results. First law is the better you think your painting is, the lower the number of views it will get. And that is an absolute. And I'm sure that there are other people out there who make videos who would agree with that. So the better you think your painting is, and the more you think people will like it, the lower your views will be when it comes to putting it up online. And the other law of inverse proportion that is a true thing is that the fewer the views that the video gets, I'm painting the tree now, the fewer the views your video gets, the kinder the comments will be, and the more appreciated you are. So in other words, what I'm trying to say is we get the most heart-rending comments on the videos which do the least well for some reason, and I don't know why. But which isn't to say that I don't want the videos to do well or anything like that. Of course I do. I'm just painting nice dark brown in here, and I'll do the other branch when the moon's dry. So yeah, it's really weird actually. So you do a video that doesn't do very well, and you say to yourself, "Oh dear, that was a mistake." But then you start getting comments from people saying, this video came at exactly the right moment and you saved my life, and I'm so glad I found you. And you think, oh my goodness, I am glad I put that one up after all. And our biggest video of all time, the one that's had more views than anything else, was one that I almost tore up and put in the bin. Yep. I nearly did. I said to my daughter, Tamsin, I said, I've made a terrible mistake here. It's awful. I'm going to throw it away. And so put it aside for a while. And then, I don't know, I can't remember now the story, how it went, but probably it was that we had run out of time and we didn't have enough videos and we needed one. Anyway, so for some reason it got put up in the end, and lo and behold, it was very successful. It's very strange YouTube. Okay, so that's basically the framework around which he sits. So then I'm going to put a nice beige tummy for him, and we'll give him a pattern on there later. So do you think that you'll be able to draw this, or do you want me to put up a sketch? Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to do his wings, and I'm hoping that they will run a little bit. Into his beige tummy. There we are. And is this dry? No, it's not dry. Okay, we'll leave it a bit longer, leave it to do its thing, and then I'll put the top part of the owl's head in. Meanwhile, let's pop below and find a smaller brush, a bit smaller, and we'll paint the stocking. I found a quite good combination of reds is rose madder and vermilion. That makes quite a nice Christmas red. A bit more vermilion. You can make it a bit darker if you want. Always best to change colours part way through whatever it is you're painting. Nearly ran out of paper here, didn't I? Okay, so there's the foot. And the owl is just looking to see whether or not anything has been deposited in his stocking. I will have to use the hairdryer in a minute because I'm just picking up some pale baby blue to paint the furry elements here. When that's dry, I'll put a little bit of shadow in under the fur. And maybe I'll just make that a tiny bit darker. There. And we need a little bit of string. Okay, I shall get the hairdryer and give it a whack. Okay, now we're going to paint, I think we're going to paint the sky behind him, because this is the moon, so we need blue. Oh yes, no, here it is. This is the indigo, I think. Yeah, that's right. Or the Prussian blue. So let's do this bit first. Is this dry? Dry enough. And I'm going to put snow on this when it's dry. I have picked up a bigger brush, but I'm not entirely sure that I should have. It's a little bit tricky. I'm just trying to be a little bit quicker. Okay, and then down here, and we can make the stockings stand out a bit more by painting around the white there. And we'll just keep it sort of faded away, fading out as we go down to the bottom here. And we mustn't forget to continue on over this side too. There we are, and then we'll do it paler on this side. So there we are, that's the background painted. So you don't have to be afraid of backgrounds. And put a bit more of the brown in up there if you want. Okay, now I might put maybe just a little bit more blue in here, so it's not quite so sudden. There we are, so that's the background. And now we need to paint the top of his head, which is going to be in brown. Mix it with a bit of rusty colour, I think. Now, I want to say that I think this card would be quite suitable for certain people, but I'm not going to say it, so you'll just have to imagine what I mean, and you have to imagine why I'm saying it, okay, and why I'm not saying it. But I do think that there would be certain elements of one's life, younger perhaps than we are now ourselves, who might quite like this card, because a lot of people are quite fond of these owls, aren't they? So let's put the black part of the eye in. And if you go accidentally over, which is very easy to do, don't worry, because you can always put the white back in using a bit of white paint or a white pen. It is quite easy to go wrong here. So I'll shut up for a sec. It's when you're doing something like this that you suddenly realise, first of all, how much your hand moves when you're talking, and second of all, that, let's put this branching up here. What? I don't know, I've forgotten. There we are, that's the twig there. Do you know, I really can't remember what I was going to say, so I have to leave you in suspenders. Put a bit more brownish in places. You know, trees vary, don't they? Okay, so we're doing well here. Beak is going to be orange, but tempered a little bit with this kind of burnt sienna. I don't know what colour. Owls' beaks usually are, probably not this colour. But this one's going to be this colour. Right, when that's dry, let's just give it a whack. Okay, so it's dry now, so I'll put some white. I'm going to use my white Kuretake ink. No, actually, I'm going to do that last, so I'll keep you waiting for a second. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to, see how lovely and smooth the moon is, and I'm going to add some more colour variety, because it all blended in, you see, it all blended in, but I didn't really want it to, but it will do that. So we all know that the moon has got kind of pattern on it, so just keep it lighter on one side than it is on the other. Then we've got this lovely tummy, and we're just going to give him a bit more colour on his tummy. And shortly we'll be coming in with some spots on his tummy. So now we're putting in his claws. Just keep them simple, don't have to be realistic. And I will go down the outside edge here with a bit more brown. And we'll give him some sticky up bits in the middle of his head. I don't know if they have these or not. But mine needs to visit the hairdresser. We go around the outside of his eyes a bit. The thing is, you could keep this as an absolutely straightforward painting, watercolor, or you can enhance it with pen. With the last one, the small one that I did, I used a bit of pen on it. And I probably will on this one too. So let's put some nice feathers on his chest. I think that's really cool. Okay, I think I might make his beak a little bit darker on one side. So lighten it up on that side. What else can we do? I think I'm nearly finished. We could actually put up here, on here, we could put a nice bird. I'm going to paint him black. And we will take our black pen and give him some feet. And I think we're pretty much finished now. I can go around his eyeballs a little bit to make them a bit smoother. Like that. I can make his light in his eye a little bit bigger. Not with that pen, that one's got to be thrown away. Where's it gone? A little bit more. And then, as I said, we were going to put some snow in, and I'll just pick up some of this nice ink and put snow over the whole sky. It's snowing quite heavily. Oh yes, and that was the other thing. I haven't decorated the... Oh, I didn't want to forget that. Put in some stitching. And then maybe some little stars. This embroidery stitch has got a name, but I don't remember it. But there we are. Okay, well, yeah, since I've got the white, we'll make his eye a little bit whiter in the middle there. Anything else I've forgotten? The eye and the bird. And I think that'll do. I think we're going to leave it there. So there we are. One owl for Christmas. He's waiting for his stocking to be filled. Hopefully Santa will be kind to him this year. Oh, you could put a little bit of snow on the branches of the tree there. So I might do that, and if I do, you'll see it in the photo. I will put a sketch up for you in case you want it, but why not give it a try and see whether you can make it work for you, from scratch. If you're just starting to learn to paint and starting to learn to draw, this is a really easy one with a very, I think, fairly kind of dramatic outcome. I think it looks pretty good, don't you? I'm not conceited. Me? No. Okay, I'll let you go and I'll see you again soon. Take care, happy painting, and bye-bye for now, everyone. Bye-bye.